Hi, welcome back. In this lecture, I'll show you how to use a potentiometer. A potentiometer is a device that allows you to change the value of a resistance by turning a knob. Here's an example of what you can do with such a device. Now as we turn the knob of the potentiometer, the LED will glow stronger or weaker until it goes off. So brightest, it's practically turned off now. Let's put this circuit together and then we'll discuss how it works. In particular, we'll see what is happening inside the potentiometer. You're going to need the Arduino, a potentiometer, an LED, and a resistor to protect the LED. As you turn the knob on the potentiometer, the resistance connected to its output pin changes. This in turn changes the voltage on that pin. This output voltage is read by the Arduino at analog pin 0. The Arduino will then use digital pin 11 to drive the LED. Although pin 11 is digital, we are using its pulse width modulation PWD feature, like we did back in lecture 5. We just glossed over this feature back then. We used the analog ride instruction, which makes use of this feature. Later in this lecture, I'll explain how PWD works. What we're going to do now is to put together a circuit that's going to contain this potentiometer and an LED. So when we turn the knob on the potentiometer, the LED will glow stronger or weaker. So the potentiometer, this device here, is essentially a voltage divider. It's got 3 pins. One pin, doesn't matter which one, either the leftmost or rightmost pin we connect to voltage and ground. And then we get a reading of the voltage in the middle pin. The way we do that is plug that onto the breadboard. Can connect, say, the one on the left. So I'm going to connect first the 2 columns, red for the 5 volts and black we've got the ground. Then onto the potentiometer, do the rightmost pin to ground and the leftmost pin to the 5 volts. And I'm going to take a reading from the middle pin of the potentiometer. Using the analog pin 0 on the Arduino. Let's put the LED together. Again, short leg will go to the lower voltage. So, plug that in here. Protect it with a resistor, plugged into the ground. And then I'm going to plug the long leg of the LED to the Arduino digital pin 11, which, unlike pin 13, allows you to send out or output pulse width modulation values, which I'm going to explain a bit later what that means. So now our circuit is ready. Just plug it in, upload the sketch. Now as we turn the knob of the potentiometer, the LED will glow stronger or weaker until it goes off. So brightest, it's practically turned off now. That's about it. Remember back in lecture 7 we learned about the voltage or impedance divider? Back then the divider was fixed, as we used two fixed resistors. In a potentiometer we still have these two resistors inside the package, but at least one of them is variable, that is, the resistor changes as we turn the knob. So a potentiometer is nothing more than a variable voltage divider. Arduino's digital pins can output high and low values, as we've already seen. Some of these digital pins, however, are special. Although they can still only output high and low, their output can be modulated in a way that this output can behave as if it was analog. Have a look at this diagram taken from the Arduino website. A normal digital pin outputs 0 or 5 volts, like in the top and bottom waveform examples. But in a pin that supports PWM, we can output 5 volts for only part of the period. In the second waveform, for example, we output 5 volts for 25% of the period, and 0 volts for the rest. In the third example, it's 50% and 50% respectively. On the LED, this kind of modulation on the output signal has an effect similar to using an analog pin and outputting voltage in the range of 0 to 5 volts. In effect, we simulate analog output using a digital pin. Here's an experiment which I also include in the quiz for this lecture. Take a small speaker and connect it to the breadboard so that it replaces the LED. Fire up the circuit. Can you hear the sound coming out of it? Can you notice how its pitch changes as you turn the knob?